Do you think settling means stability? The truth is, every time you choose comfort, you might be trading away the strongest parts of yourself. Comfort is not what it seems. Most people imagine it as the reward for hard work, the safe place where life finally becomes easy. But Nietzsche warned that comfort can be the most dangerous trap of all. It does not come with alarms or warnings. It comes quietly, disguised as peace. You think you are resting, but in truth, you are slowly surrendering. The comfort you trust to keep you safe is often the very thing that stops you from growing. Nietzsche called this figure the last man. He is the one who wants nothing more than comfort, safety, and small pleasures. At first glance, he looks content, but inside, he is hollow. He has traded greatness for ease, purpose for security, and ambition for nothing more than survival. Think about how subtle this trap works. You say yes to the job that is steady but uninspiring. You settle for relationships that feel safe but lack passion. You stop asking the harder questions because the answers might disturb you. Every small decision to choose comfort seems harmless, but together they shape a life that is smaller than it could be. Comfort becomes a cage that does not look like a cage. Nietzsche's warning was simple. When you choose the path of least resistance, you stop resisting altogether. It is easy to see this in the world around you. The person who spends hours scrolling, never challenged, never tested, feels content in the moment, but wonders why life feels flat. The worker who avoids risk, who never takes the leap toward what he really wants, may look responsible. But deep inside, he feels that something is missing. Comfort whispers to them that this is enough, but comfort is lying. It tells you to accept the minimum when you are capable of so much more. Nietzsche understood that the human spirit is not designed for endless ease. We are built to wrestle, to climb, to confront obstacles. Without challenge, the fire inside goes out. Comfort is not rest. Comfort is erosion. It is the slow decay of your will to power. That inner drive Nietzsche saw as the core of life itself. And once that drive is dulled, you no longer live fully. You merely survive. Ask yourself this: when was the last time comfort truly fulfilled you? Did sitting in ease make you proud, or did it make you restless? Did it expand you, or did it shrink you? Nietzsche believed the last man avoids these questions because he already knows the answer. Deep down, he feels that comfort is empty, but instead of facing that emptiness, he distracts himself with small pleasures. He calls this happiness, but it is only numbness. This is the hidden trap. Comfort convinces you that nothing is wrong, while it steals your strength, one quiet moment at a time. Nietzsche's warning is not to reject rest, but to see the difference between rest and settling. Rest prepares you for the next climb. Settling makes sure you never climb again. And if you give in, you may one day look back and realize that you never lived at all. Most people think they choose comfort because they want peace, but Nietzsche believed comfort often hides something else entirely. Behind the soft pillow of safety is a trembling heart that is afraid of the world, afraid of failing, afraid of rejection, afraid of not being enough. The truth is that most people do not settle because they are satisfied. They settle because they are scared. Look closely, and you will see it everywhere. The man who never dares to start his own project tells himself he is happy with his routine, but really, he is terrified of failing in public. The woman who stays in a relationship that no longer excites her insists that it is stable, but deep inside, she fears the pain of being alone. The student who avoids pursuing what he loves hides behind the excuse of practicality when what he really fears is not being good enough. These choices all look like contentment, but Nietzsche would say they are masks. Masks designed to protect us from what we do not want to face. Nietzsche saw that fear is one of the strongest forces shaping human life, and when fear grows too heavy, the easiest escape is to accept comfort. You tell yourself that you do not need more, that you are fine as you are, that risk is unnecessary. But underneath those words is the voice of fear whispering, "Stay small, stay hidden, do not risk being hurt." Comfort gives you an excuse to listen to that whisper. It dresses fear in the costume of wisdom. It makes cowardice look like maturity. The danger is that over time, you start to believe the disguise. You convince yourself that you chose comfort freely, when in truth, fear chose for you. Nietzsche wanted us to see through this lie. He believed that true strength is not the absence of fear, but the courage to face it directly. The person who accepts risk, who dares the uncertain, may stumble, may even fail, but that person lives honestly. The one who avoids risk entirely may look steady, but they live dishonestly, hiding from themselves. Think about the moments when life has tested you. The hard conversation you kept postponing, the dream you avoided chasing, the leap you almost made but pulled back from at the last moment. Did you choose not to act because you were truly content, or because fear won? Nietzsche would say that every time fear wins, a little more of your life slips into shadows. The tragedy is not just that you avoided risk. The tragedy is that you avoided yourself. Comfort can never give you the fullness you are searching for, because it was built on escape. It is not peace, it is hiding, and hiding is not living. Nietzsche's challenge is simple but relentless. What you fear most is the very place you must go. If comfort is your shield, then your real enemy is not the world outside. It is the fear inside that keeps you from stepping into it. Risk is not the threat. Risk is the proof that you are still alive. Settling always feels like the safer choice in the moment. You tell yourself it is practical, that it is responsible, that it is enough. But Nietzsche warned that what looks safe on the surface carries invisible costs that build up silently over time. Every time you accept less than what you long for, every time you lower your standards to avoid struggle, you pay a price. That price is your future self. Think of the dreams you once had that you quietly buried, the art you wanted to create, the risk you wanted to take, the passion you wanted to follow. You told yourself it was unrealistic or too late, but what really happened was that you settled, and each time you did, something inside you dimmed. The passion that once pushed you forward became a faint memory. The individuality that made you unique slowly blended into the background of everyone else who also chose easy over true. Nietzsche saw this clearly. He believed that to avoid struggle is to avoid life itself. Struggle is not a punishment. Struggle is proof that you are alive and striving. Settling, on the other hand, is a form of quiet surrender. It is not the collapse of your body, but the slow death of your spirit. You do not notice it all at once. It creeps in like rust, eating away at your strength, until one day you realize that years have passed and you never really lived them. Ask yourself, what does it truly cost to settle? You lose the version of yourself that could have been. You lose the courage that comes only from facing what is difficult. You lose the satisfaction that comes from knowing you fought for something that mattered. And perhaps, worst of all, you gain regret. Regret is the heaviest weight because it cannot be undone. You can recover from failure. You can rebuild after loss, but you cannot go back in time and reclaim the chances you refuse to take. Settling robs you of more than opportunity. It robs you of peace with yourself. Nietzsche wanted us to see that regret is not born from the risks we take, but from the risks we avoid. The failed attempt hurts for a moment. The unattempted dream haunts us for a lifetime. That is why he saw settling as a far greater danger than struggle. The person who struggles at least moves, at least grows, at least learns. The person who settles stands still, convincing themselves that stillness is stability. But stability without growth is not stability at all. It is decay. Look at the lives of those who never dared. They may have houses, routines, and a sense of order, but behind their eyes there is often a quiet longing, a silent question. What if? That question is the shadow of all the roads not taken. It follows them everywhere because deep down they know the cost of settling was themselves. Nietzsche's warning is not meant to frighten, but to wake you. Settling is the comfortable poison. It tastes sweet in the moment, but its aftertaste lingers for the rest of your life. If you want to escape the heaviest burden of regret, you must refuse to pay the price of settling. You must choose the path that demands more of you, because only that path gives you more of yourself. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They treat it as a warning sign, something to run from, something that means they are doing life wrong. But Nietzsche believed the opposite. He saw discomfort not as a curse, but as a signal that you are alive, that you are moving, that you are breaking past the limits of what you already are. To him, greatness never came from ease. It came from facing what was hard and refusing to turn away. Think about what discomfort really is. It is the pounding of your heart before you speak up. It is the sting of failure when you try something new. It is the loneliness of leaving behind what is familiar for something uncertain. These moments feel painful, but hidden inside them is power. Nietzsche believed that without discomfort, you never awaken your deeper self. Comfort keeps your potential locked away. Discomfort forces it out into the open. Look at anyone who has grown into something more than ordinary. They did not arrive there by choosing what was easy. The athlete pushes through exhaustion. The artist wrestles with rejection. The thinker struggles with doubt. Each of them found transformation in what most people run from. Nietzsche once wrote that one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. That chaos is discomfort, and the star it creates is the new self you could never reach by staying safe. It is tempting to believe that happiness comes from removing discomfort, but Nietzsche warned that this belief is hollow. A life without struggle is not peace, it is emptiness. Discomfort is not the enemy of happiness, it is the path to meaning. When you lift a heavy weight, your muscles tear before they grow. When you face a hard truth, your identity shakes before it strengthens. When you risk failure, your fear burns before your courage rises. Discomfort is the process that transforms you. The tragedy is that many people never see this. They confuse discomfort with danger, so they run from it. But in running, they also run from themselves. They never learn what they could endure, what they could create, what they could become. Nietzsche wanted us to face discomfort with open eyes, not because suffering is good for its own sake, but because through it you unlock a depth that comfort will never give you. Ask yourself, when have you grown the most? Was it during the times when everything was easy, or the times when you were tested? The answer is always the same. Growth comes from trial, from risk, from standing in the fire long enough to emerge changed. Discomfort is not punishment, it is initiation. Nietzsche's challenge is simple. Stop running from the hard parts of life. They are not there to break you. They are there to make you. The door to transformation does not open through comfort. It opens only when you walk straight into discomfort and refuse to turn back. That is where you stop being who you were and start becoming who you are meant to be. There is a moment when rejecting comfort is no longer just about resisting fear. It becomes about what you will build in its place. Nietzsche believed that the purpose of life is not to settle, not even simply to endure, but to create. Creation is what transforms existence from something you pass through into something you shape with your own hands. And this creation is not limited to art or inventions. It is the creation of yourself, of your path, of a life that is unmistakably yours. Comfort cannot give you this. Comfort can only preserve what already exists. It is a shield, not a tool. You can hide behind it for years, but you will never grow there. Nietzsche saw this clearly when he wrote about the danger of the last man, the one who lives only for ease. The last man avoids pain, avoids risk, avoids striving, and in doing so, he avoids himself. His life is not his own creation. It is a repetition of what is already given. To create beyond comfort is to refuse this fate. It means looking at your fears, your struggles, even your chaos, and using them as material. The pain you survived becomes the strength you can build on. The uncertainty you faced becomes the courage that defines you. Creation is the act of turning what could have broken you into the foundation of something greater. This is not about chasing suffering. It is about refusing to let comfort erase your potential. Think about how alive you feel when you make something that did not exist before. It could be as small as a decision no one expected you to make, or as large as a vision that shapes your future. In those moments, you are not drifting, you are directing. Nietzsche wanted every person to reach this state, where life is no longer a series of accidents, but a deliberate act of creation. To him, that was the essence of strength, not the absence of weakness, but the ability to transform weakness into fuel. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped settling? If you used discomfort not as an excuse to retreat, but as a reason to build? What could you shape out of the very things you once tried to avoid? That is the path Nietzsche pointed to. Not a path of safety, but a path of creation, where every challenge becomes clay in your hands. And this is why rejecting comfort is not about chaos. Chaos without purpose consumes you. Creation gives chaos form. When you create, you give meaning to suffering. You give shape to struggle. You turn survival into growth. Comfort leaves you untouched, but creation makes you alive. Nietzsche's final warning is also his greatest invitation. Do not wait for life to hand you meaning. Make it. Take the raw material of who you are and what you face and build something that reflects your highest vision. Comfort will beg you to stay small, but your task is larger. You are not here to settle. You are here to create. That is how you move beyond comfort. That is how you truly begin to live.